Morning, beautiful people. Today we are editing this photo of this bluebird female. Let's see how we get around it. This is not the best way, but this is my way, the way I edit my photos. So this is how we do it. Let's get right into it. First, I am going to raise the exposure just a little bit. I will add a little bit of contrast, maybe around 16. The white balance looks a little too warm, so I'm going to use this eyedropper tool and click on the feather. There you go, that looks better. Then I like to start with the calibration panel, and for that I'm going to increase the blue saturation, and that will make the blue a little bit more blue and the orange a little bit more saturated and brighter and just pretty. Go back to the basic panel. Turn the highlights a little bit down to get a little bit more detail under the belly over here. The shadows, we don't need to increase those. It's pretty bright. Whites, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to blow out the highlights. If you click Option on the Mac and you drag to the right, you'll see when you start to blow up highlights. So we're going to go just before that. Same thing with the blacks. Option, drag to the left. I like to see a little bit of blown out blacks into the pupil of the eye, and that looks good to me. Texture will go to about 24, clarity maybe 16. Vibrance will go to 28 of vibrance, but then we'll take the saturation down to maybe -4. All right. Now we are moving down to sharpening. Click on Option, drag to the right so you can mask it, and I'm only sharpening the bird. This photo was taken in ISO, I believe 1600, so the ISO is pretty high. We'll fix that in a second. Remove chromatic aberration, enable profile correction, all of that. And now we're moving on Photoshop. Command E to send the photo to Photoshop, and it will open in Photoshop. And here I see this dust spot I have, so I'll take the spot healing tool and just fix that really quick before I forget. Then I would like to crop this image, so we'll go to the crop tool over here, and I think 8x10 will look good on this. Let's see on landscape orientation. That looks good to me. The eyes on the top thirds line, that looks good. I'll accept that. And then let's see, what will we do in here? Let's take care of that noise. You know, I don't think this post is straight. Let's straighten that. I'll make sure it's straighten, just like that. That looks straight. And I'll do the content aware fill over here, so I don't get the white parts around it. We'll wait for that to process. The computer is pretty slow today. And I will fill in the white parts. There we go. Everything looks good. Now let's take care of that noise. We'll make a duplicate of this layer, Command J, and then I will take it, and my choice of editing for noise is Topaz Denoise, and I'll take that in Topaz Denoise. We'll wait for that to open. All right, let's move this little box on eye so we see what we're doing. And I like to use the standard for most photos. I'll stay on standard, and I don't like to go over 15 or it starts to get some funky stuff in it. So I'll stay at 15 for both of those, and that takes really good care of the noise there, you can see. I'll apply that. now we're here. I am going to flatten this, right click, flatten image, and I am going to close and it will save back in Lightroom. So here we have it. And with this, I will apply a radial gradient. And I'm going to drag that over the bird. I'm going to angle it the way the bird goes. And then I'm going to invert it and darken it a little bit to create a little bit of vignette, but I'm not going to, see, this is too much. I'm not going to let it black like that. I'm going to dehaze it a little bit so it softens the black. And then I'm also going to add some blue into it to make it a blue tint. Maybe that's too much. Okay, like that. All right, let's see. If we go to the previous photo and we reset it. So we started with that. And now we are at this. That looks better. Maybe I want the orange to stand up a little bit more. So I'm going to go to the HSL color. I'll take the orange and just add a little bit more saturation. I like that. That's good. And let's see, that looks pretty good to me. Yeah, I'll add another radial gradient to make it a little bit darker around the corners. You see, I didn't invert it. I'm gonna invert it. So I'm gonna go to this and go invert. And now we'll just darken the edges a little bit, just like that. That looks good to me. Maybe I'll add a little bit of blue again. That's too much. Maybe just like that. All right, that looks good. And let's see where we started again. We started with this photo and we ended up here. And that's how I edited this photo. We'll see you next time. Bye.